Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to a reaction show. We're mainly going to talk about the big game, the City Liverpool game. But you know what? We'll try to see if we can cover some other things as well. But thank you for joining, and of course, with me on the show, we've got two people back from our previous show. So of course, we've got a bit of consistency there. In case you're wondering, yes, this is not because of what happened on Saturday. I didn't just lose all my hair because that. This is a choice, as I say. But yes, it is pretty appropriate actually in some ways after what happened on Saturday. A lot of people probably pulled their hair out after what they saw. But nonetheless, we've got Gaurav on the show with us. Gaurav, welcome back once again.
Thank you, Rohit. It's always
Yeah.
good to be on the show.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well after yesterday. I hope you had a chance to calm down, to breathe, and after all of that. And by the way, yes, and Gaurav actually pushed for this show to happen, and I think it's because he got his prediction right. So kind of wants to gloat about that. He got that 2-2 draw. I think it was the only one who picked a draw. He got it right, and I think Gaurav
It's 2-2, right?
Yeah, you did pick two. You did pick the 2-2, and Shashwat picked it as well. Everybody says Shashwat, but yeah, it's actually you were the first one to say that. Yeah. So yeah, then maybe there's some reason. Then of course we've got Knayha back on the show as well. Again, Knayha, welcome.
Yes.
Rocking
Thanks for
is it a hot summer already there in India? Because you can see you wearing the tap.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Okay.
42 degrees.
42? Is it 42?
That's around 40, 41 in Bangalore.
Oh wow, that's tough. Yeah, I'm in Canada where it's like 12, 13 degrees right now. That's what it is. Anyway.
Your haircut says otherwise, but okay. Cool. I'll believe
My
it.
haircut says otherwise, but yeah, no, it is. It is a well by that logic, your haircut doesn't say that it's summer over there either. So
But at least I'm wearing a tank top, so it's fine.
Our summer patterns, yes. But anyway, we got a few months before summer's here anyway. So anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about the game. It finished Manchester City 2, Liverpool 2. Gaurav, do you think a point gained or 2 points dropped from City's perspective?
Definitely 2 points dropped. I think like 2 or 3 clear-cut chances. Obviously, we're the better team. There's no doubt about it. I think I personally didn't expect Liverpool to play that way. They kind of sit back and wanted to absorb the pressure. That doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but as I said, there's still lots of matches to go, and if you watch the post-match conference by the managers, you think that they felt the same way as well. Like both the teams are going to probably drop a lot more. Anyone could win the title, but yeah, definitely 2 points lost. Definitely, I would say.
Are they going to drop points? So I don't see where City are going to drop points. Liverpool, of course, have got to play Spurs, I believe. Still, I think that game is still left. So maybe they drop points there. But other than that, I don't see, because they play Chelsea, they played each other now. So I don't see where else City or Liverpool can drop points. Maybe one game, and that means
even Wolves. I think Wolves is a tricky fixture. Both of them play Wolves away.
You know what? Don't talk about Wolves. I mean, Liverpool always seem to beat Wolves. Trouble every team except Liverpool. I think Conor Cody has got like a soft spot for Liverpool because he was their player. I think Conor Cody's like, yeah, sure, Liverpool, yeah, go ahead, take a couple of goals here. I think that's Conor Cody never plays well against them. That's just Anyway, I've watched them play. So, but I don't know. Maybe Wolves might be a tricky fixture, but I don't think they'll drop there. But do you agree with Gaurav? I mean, just in terms of the way that Liverpool played, because they looked a little bit subdued. They looked a little bit.
I think
not Liverpool.
I think the first half, was like something of a reminder, maybe, for them. I think Liverpool, like it. So, like I said this in the previous show as well. It was City. City can sit back. City can easily score a goal and sit back, and getting a point from this game is good enough for them because they're still leading. At the end of the night, at the end of the day, they're still the favorites and they're still leading by a point. Eventually, that's what matters. Liverpool had to do something. They tried. It didn't work. First half looked like as if they were sleeping. Like for a team which is like because you're comparing the best here. So for a team that works that way, it's definitely not kind of helped. But Liverpool, second half, I don't know what Klopp said to them. The way they came back, it was like amazing. It was like just watching them, like watching like the old Liverpool, like in a way, like a game before where they were dominating and stuff. And City, like I think Pep didn't like the fact that they kind of conceded immediately. And he would have been like, just don't concede immediately. Just hold on for 15 minutes in the second half, and we will control this game. But Liverpool being Liverpool, and I would say the both teams went ahead like head to head on different time zones. Like there was a period where Liverpool was like on a ramp, they could score any moment. City dominated a major part of the game, but I feel that City comes out the happiest out of it, and also the fact because they almost will play them 2 times more. Like they'll play them in the FA Cup, and they might also play them in the Champions League final. So Pep has that psychological advantage in that sense that he did not lose to Liverpool. And for Liverpool, it's more pressure because now, of course, both can't drop points like any. We don't see any game which kind of they drop points here, but it's still City leading, and that is pressure enough for Liverpool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think that will be. I mean, yes, there's still 2 more games potentially. 1 more game definitely, 2 more games potentially to come. So we'll of course have to keep an eye on that. Gaurav, do you think City missed Ruben Dias in this one? Because I think John Stones, of course, was at fault for the first goal. I know Ruben Dias is someone who divides opinion a lot, and we don't have Siddhant here, as he could tell us exactly what he thinks about Ruben Dias. But do you think perhaps they missed him in this game?
Not really, apart from those 2 chances that they scored from, they didn't really create a lot of chances. And I think Walker was kind of responsible for that Mane goal.
Yeah.
Man market. Diaz, one thing with Diaz is that he knows, how to set up the defense, So you can always see him giving advice to his teammates, especially the center backs and full backs to push forward, play a higher line, what to do. So you kind of missed that thing, but I wouldn't blame it on John Stones. So they did good enough. I mean, this was Liverpool, arguably the second best team, right? So, not really.
Arguably the second best. Who's the second best if it's not Liverpool?
I was talking about Europe.
Oh, Europe. Yeah. I think they are now the second best team in Europe as well. I mean, I had hopes for Bayern, I had hopes for Real Madrid, but I don't know about that anymore. But yeah, I think Liverpool. Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good point that you made that Diaz does organize the defense. But if Diaz is on the pitch, maybe those 2 chances don't get considered as well. Sometimes it's the fine margins, right, in these sort of games where you get that sort of thing happening. Knayha, just continuing on the City team. Kevin De Bruyne, is he? I mean, he probably should win the Player of the Season this year award, but is he, in your opinion, the best midfielder, attacking midfielder at least in Europe right now?
Absolutely, like he's giving Pep a striker, a midfielder, and like all in one. He's the goal scorer. He's also the one who assists, and yeah, and so he's arguably the best. Like, and you could see the. If you've seen how players around Messi feel, you could actually feel that around Kevin De Bruyne in this game. Like you could see how many defenders he will attract immediately. Like they're trying to like almost push him off. He's like, just fall. But then he's that strong as well. Like that's his other amazing trait, that he's so strong he can just kind of rub them off as well. Like the 92nd minute. That attempt by, I think it was Robertson or Matip or Fabinho trying to stop him or trying to tackle him in a way, and he still gets out and gives a pass to, and then Mahrez tries a wonder goal, but then he misses. But then that move at the 92nd minute, even then he has that intensity. It says a lot about his character, I would say, and I think he's brilliant. He's one of the best, arguably the best, I would say, in Europe. Nothing comes to my like. Okay. I don't even know who to compare him in Europe. I'm thinking Luka Modric, Busquets, Barca, Frankie de Jong. But then you don't see them scoring these many goals and making such attacking threats. He's just next level, and I think Pep just gets.
Thomas Muller might be someone else. Thomas Muller does play an attacking midfielder these days. He was a striker at one point, but he just plays an attacking midfielder now. Maybe the closest, I think. That's the only one I can think of. Thomas Muller. I don't think I can think of anybody else either. So yeah, he's a very all-action midfielder. I mean, he's almost as good as Bruno Fernandes was in his prime. No, I'm joking. Of course, I'm joking before somebody clips this and makes it a meme. No, I'm just joking. That's not what I mean. But yeah, no, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to watch Kevin De Bruyne in full flow. I do think that I always feel that he's a creative midfielder. I think he's added more to his game over the last couple of years. He's become more efficient, more effective. If it was that possible, if that was possible, he says he found another gear. I just hope. I just worry for it. The only sad part is that like Messi in a way, and you compare him to Messi, he plays for a team like Belgium that doesn't really have the resources to really. I mean, I know they have a talented generation, but I just feel like they're not on that same wavelength sometimes when he plays for Belgium. So sad that he'll probably never win an international trophy in his career. But I mean, that's so it is. So it happens. But got to talk about Liverpool. One of the problems is Salah's form a problem for Liverpool right now, because he hasn't scored for a while. He looked a little bit anonymous in this game as well. As Mo Salah, so the standards are a little bit different. But is it a concern for Liverpool going into this business end that they've got their main man is not firing for them?
Definitely is. I mean, like, he has won the match single and that like on 10 or 15 games in the last years itself. That he's won all by himself. So definitely is. And I also think that the Conte talks is kind of like a distraction to him. Maybe it's not sure whether what's going to happen in the future. Maybe that's having an effect as well. I think Jota is in a very good form. He always looks like he's going to score goals.
I know, it's weird with Jota, isn't it? Like almost like every game he scores. It's a miracle he doesn't have 30 goals. I think he probably still has about 20 or something. I think he should have 30 because every time I see him, he scored a goal. But sorry, 20.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But with Salah, you have that he has the kind of ability. Most of the teams have to put two men for him. Like you have to always double mark it, and that kind of gets that extra space for leaders or someone who's playing as a striker, and the teams are going to notice that. So the top managers will notice that he's not that kind of solve some major issue for them. So yeah, they will definitely this is previous form.
Yeah, for sure. I think. Sorry, can I?
I think it's more like I think it's more like for it's an advantage. Like that shows the class of Liverpool right now. Their main man Mo Salah is not performing, but then they're still not losing. I would say that speaks more about Klopp than Mo Salah right now. Mo Salah can have a dip, like the World Cup, of course, transfer talk and all the contract negotiations that would be on his mind. But he's a professional. He showed that these things have never mattered to him. Like they don't affect him in football when it comes to goal scoring. I would just simply say that the others have just been more brilliant. They're making the moves. They're allowing him to be the assister. Because it's kind of you can compare him to Kane right now, but Kane is also assisting. He's not scoring, but he's assisting a lot of goals. It's more like the system. Everyone knows he's the main man, but then that leaves Mane and Jota a lot of space. And this is classic Liverpool, and I would say Klopp right now. He knows like Salah won't. He's never out of form. Salah, in my mind, it's like he's just not scoring. That's fine. He's never out. He's not playing bad. It's not like he's missing single touches or not passing. He's making the runs. He's causing the defense the problems. He had chances in the game as well. He could have closed, but then he didn't score. But then he did impact the game. So I feel that Mo Salah is more like, and that's the plus one as well. You want your player to kind of feel that you are being challenged as well. Because Mo Salah is the only man, it's more like Klopp being dependent on him in a way. So I think that fact that goes to again the squad depth, how Klopp has been working. So I feel there is much more of Salah. We still kind of have to we have to see. There's more in store, I would say.
Yeah. Well, the good thing for Liverpool is, of course, as Knayha said, I mean, they've got other players as well. They've got Jota, they've got Mane, they've got Luis Diaz as well, the bench. The other good news, of course, for Liverpool is that they've got the game against Benfica coming up in midweek before they play City again. So, chances of warm up, because that game is that tie is done at this point. I think they're pretty much confirmed the semi-final spot. So, it's a good chance for maybe Salah to play and get some of his form back as well, and to use that as a game as well to prepare for what is going to be another round 2 on Saturday that we're going to come for. So looking ahead, Gaurav, would you make any changes for that Saturday game? I mean, it was injuries and all of that permitting. Would you make any changes for the Saturday game from City's point of view?
I think Mahrez has to come in the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jesus scored that goal, and he works really hard. But I still feel Mahrez is are the best attacking option that we have right now. He's scored the most goals this season for us. So I can see Pep starting Mahrez in this game and maybe in the FA Cup game as well.
I was talking about the FA Cup game. I think the Atletico game is what it is, and I'm sure he's going to think about tactics for that.
Walker is suspended, so you'll see Cancelo on the right and probably Ake on the left. So that is the only change I expect. Right.
Yeah, for the Champions League game, right?
Champions League game.
The FA Cup game, Walker will come back probably. Okay. Yeah. Knayha, do you see any changes from Liverpool for the Saturday game? Not about the Champions League game, but the Saturday game. I mean, again, injury permitting, all of that. Assuming everyone's fit Saturday, do you envisage any changes that he's gonna make? The club's gonna make?
I think Luis Diaz starts, I would say.
Who would you take out?
I think he takes out Jota for because he would want him to play Champions League, and then because I just have a feeling that he just wants to. He doesn't want to take Salah out and doesn't want to take Mane out for this end of the run. So he'll keep rotating the third one, Firmino, Jota, and amongst Luis Diaz. So I think Luis Diaz comes in my mind. What's going to be very interesting is I think Fabinho needs a rest in my mind because I felt that he was the weak link in that whole Liverpool midfield. I felt they were the first goal as well. How easily he was brushed off, and then of course the deflection is that's lucky, but then still the way you can't leave Kevin De Bruyne. He can't drop you like that on the left itself. Also, it's not he went on the right. He was covering the right and he just went on the left and he went and had a shot. But then that's what I see.
Okay, Fabinho dropped. I guess I wonder who would start though if you take Fabinho down, because Gaurav, did they have a CDM that you think they could start? Because Fabinho's form is a concern a little bit this season.
He looked exhausted. I think he looked exhausted from the start of the game. Kevin De Bruyne, like brushed him and got ahead of a lot of times.
Yeah,
probably Henderson. Yeah, Henderson will start as a DM. He will then Thiago and Keita.
The other option, of course, is to rest Fabinho for the Benfica game. You don't have to play him, then he gets a week off where you can kind of recharge his batteries and maybe come back for Saturday. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Obviously, that'll be another game. I don't think we'll do a preview for that one. It's the FA Cup. We don't bother with the FA Cup previews, but I might do a reaction show for that after the game. So I'll probably do one of those. But on that note, Gaurav, your man of the match for this one?
I would say Kevin De Bruyne.
That's pretty obvious, isn't it? Knayha, you have one?
I think in my mind it was Jesus.
Oh, okay.
Or like he just comes on and does that. As well, like he was trusted. Like he's not started. Raheem Sterling, and I think Jesus has proven that he's a big match player in my mind. So I think I felt that run was spot on. And like Cancelo, I should have given this to Cancelo, but then a ball bouncing in front of the goalkeeper, and you were like, okay, and just kind of making the target. I would say that was a beautiful goal. I would have said Mahrez if he would have scored that final goal, but then the last touch. But then I think
it actually took a deflection. Like nobody saw that. They was showing the replay, and the Mahrez chance was a deflection.
Oh, okay. There was a slight deflection deviation that took it away. As
we didn't even get a corner for that.
Oh my. Oh, okay. Well, will that miss/deflection be the ultimate difference maker in the title case?
He will be responsible because he's missed that penalty in the away game as well.
Yes, of course, yes, yeah. Okay, well there you go. Well, we know.
What do you think, Rohit?
So we know who to blame if Liverpool get their 20th title now. So we know that it's Riyad Mahrez, isn't it? But anyway, we'll keep an eye. Well, I mean, it's 2 points dropped, as Gaurav said. I think Liverpool will be happy with the point. I mean, it's away from home as well. Liverpool, I think, got the point. They got that away. So we'll keep an eye on the title race. It'll be interesting.
What do you think? What do you think, Rohit, about who is, as per you, the man, the player of the game?
I think it have to be Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think you can look past Kevin De Bruyne at the moment. I think he's pretty good. Did a lot of, obviously, a lot of good stuff in the game. He just looks on it at the moment. I think there's something about him right now that he just looks on it. He scored the goal against Atletico as well, which could be the decider as well. So just looks on it at the moment. And I think he's in the kind of form that he is.
Actually, he was carrying an injury since the start of season. He gave an interview like 4 or 5 weeks back that he had a niggling issue which was kind of holding him back, and he was in his back of his mind that he's going to aggravate that injury. Maybe that thing is gone right. Yeah,
maybe sometimes you just need a little bit of time to just recover and have that and recover fully. Just play on your mind. Yeah. I mean, Phil Jones has been carrying an injury for 4 years or 5 years, whatever. So sometimes anyway. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But no, but it's good. It's yeah, I think we'd have to pick Kevin De Bruyne. So that would be mine as well. I don't like to pick the same sometimes, but in this kind of games, you kind of have to just acknowledge that that's the way it is. I almost feel tempted to give it to Jota, but then I think is because he scored that goal, and I almost seen Zoom a goal, but no, I think it's got to be De Bruyne. All right, let's talk about the races. We'll talk about the top 4 races as well. And we're talking specifically about 2 teams. Got Arsenal 2 losses on the bounce. Just when we're talking, maybe it's done. Maybe they're now safe and home and dry. Like this is in their hands. Still in their hands because they still have to play Spurs. But that's a wobble, isn't it, for Arsenal? And again, is it a case of a team that's probably has put too much effort in the last few games and is now kind of receding, or do you think it is more a case of the pressure getting to them?
As I said, Rohit, in the previous show as well, they have an inexperienced team, even an inexperienced manager. So that is showing right now. And if you see their fixtures, they still have to play Chelsea and United, West Ham, Spurs. So let's take 4 tricky games. You never know. I mean, yeah, you could say that United is not really a tough game, but you never know which United will turn up. Maybe they'll drop points.
Well,
kind of form Arsenal.
No, please finish. Sorry to interrupt you.
You also don't know with Arsenal. They look like a brilliant team who are going to finish in the top 4, and then all of a sudden they seems to be struggling, and then goes on for 4 or 5 games on the top. So you never know with Arsenal as well. So I look at the fixture, I think it's going to be tough for them finishing in the top, and that inexperience is showing for them right now.
Yeah, when you said which United will show up, I was wondering if you meant Manchester United or Newcastle United, which United will show up. But no,
they have to play Newcastle as well, actually.
Yeah, they are playing. Yeah, I mean, I know which United are they actually playing on the day. They might not know, but yeah, Newcastle United are in good form, by the way. We make fun of that, but they actually are in good form right now. But talk about Arsenal itself. Knayha, I mean, is it at the end of the day? See, they didn't sign anybody in January. When we all thought they would probably try to sign someone in January, they didn't. Now there's of course admiration to be made about not making a panic signing, but do you think not signing that decision to not sign a striker, do you think that's now finally coming home to roost? Because Lacazette doesn't look like he's going to score an open goal from play. I think if games are 180 minutes instead of 90 minutes, I don't think he will still score a goal. He just doesn't look like he's a striker anymore.
I think what's happening now, it's a classical example of, like, he would have wanted somebody, like, I know who Arsenal wanted.
Yeah, Vlahovic.
We all know who they wanted, and this is I think Arteta's way of telling the board, when I told you to get him, and it would have broken some salary packages, everyone would have been based and stuff, but then I would not have had to deal with this now. I don't have a striker, and and this is how it builds, right? You need a squad to win titles or to kind of get positions. You need a squad which works, which actually stays, and kind of you can bank on. Arsenal, like as Gaurav has rightly said, they're a new squad. They don't have experience, and they need to get an experience. Like who does Arteta replace Lacazette with? He doesn't. He can't. Like he can only think of increasing his midfield and kind of asking Martinelli to kind of go up front alone, and that's a problem. You cannot play for finishing top 4 and not having a backup in a way. I know they've had bad injuries, but then the whole squad does not look the squad does not look experienced enough, and that will kind of this is the business end of the season, as we always call it. This is where you kind of will finish, will not finish, happens now. You play 33 games, that has resulted to the fact where you are, but then you can very, very, very easily drop points and then be out of top 4, top 6, and you're looking at 7th, and 7th and 8th is not good enough in Premier League if you fall from 4th, which they like from top 4 where they are. So I feel Arteta is kind of feeling the pressure. But then he has been backed. But then this is, of course, the fact that they didn't get the striker that they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't think they'll finish lower than 6th at this moment. I think they've done enough to not finish lower than 6th. I think 6th, and I say 6th only because maybe West Ham. The thing with West Ham is, of course, it will depend on how far they go in the Europa, because hopefully they can get a good result this Thursday, and then of course the big game against Barcelona awaits.
West Ham play Arsenal as well.
Yeah, West Ham play Arsenal as well. But I'm just
The thing with Arsenal, I'm looking at the fixture list, and is either they're playing a top 6 team or they're playing relegation candidates who will be fighting for their, to save that position they want to play. Like they're playing Leeds, Everton, and Newcastle.
Mhm.
That those games will be tricky as well because they would want to stay out the relegation.
And the North London derby at the end, right?
Yeah, there's a North London derby as well. That's first. Yeah, but what he meant was that they're either playing top 6 teams or they're playing relegation candidates or they're playing Manchester United, mid-table team. So that's what they're doing. Anyway. Yeah, but that's what they're doing at the moment. But the fixture list will be. I mean, I guess Leeds and Everton might be easier ties because just the way that they play might suit them against Leeds and Everton. But the West Ham, the what was the third one? Newcastle, I think, might be tricky. It'll be interesting one I want to watch. But then the others with the West Ham and Spurs, I think, and as well as Chelsea, I think those will be tough ties as to see as well as to what will happen there. So it's not over yet for us. Now, hope that it would have been done home and dry, but I think now that they've put themselves in a position now where they will have to try and fight their way out of it. But we'll see what happens. Speaking of which, Spurs, Gaurav, Conte comes out, says, I'm going to leave this club. And it's like, I might leave this club and everything. And now all of a sudden the team responds and they've got 2 or 3 wins on the bounce. They're doing well. Scored 4 as well in this game, which was fantastic. I hate to do it because we talked about Arsenal this way, so I don't know what the way to say it. But are they now in pole position to get 4th? And would you be disappointed? I mean, just right now where they are, would you be disappointed or surprised if they missed out on top 4 from this position?
I definitely think I think player to player wise, I think if you match 1-on-1, I think Spurs have the better team. They have more experienced players, players who could probably play for this Liverpool or even Manchester City side. Arsenal don't have that kind of players right now, and they also have an experienced manager. And I would say the only problem Tottenham ever had was that consistency. They win 4 or 5 games on the trot and then go on to lose 3-4 games, like draw 2. That is the thing Conte maybe wants to, get away with it. He's probably improving that thing right now. And I personally think that Spurs is going to take that 4th place. They have kind of easier fixtures as well. I think they have the right kind of players in the manager to do it.
Yeah. And again, surprisingly, surprise, they actually signed a couple of players in January, and that helped them build their squad depth. Some other teams didn't do that. To talk about Conte itself, is he? I mean, obviously his goal would probably be to get top 4 for Spurs and then build from there. But is he also is he thinking as well in terms of if I get top 4, then I get better, maybe better quality players in some. I have that position to say I want better quality players. And in some way, is he thinking that way, or do you think he's just thinking, well, I just need to get top 4 right now because that's my mandate with this group?
I think his top 4 is more important for him. It's not about what he gets, because he's clearly understood that there are going to be differences. He's not going to get what he wants from Levy. And he needs to live with it. He can either, like the press conference that he did, like he was like, I'm not good enough. Maybe they'll just like, maybe I'll just leave. Maybe I'm not good enough and stuff. And the bounce back that we've seen. Whenever that it's like a goal machine right now. It's like whenever Spurs has the ball, they look dangerous. Like Kulusevski, Son and Harry Kane, and Bentancur in the middle. Højbjerg, come on, we've not spoken about these players ever, and they're playing as if they're like a top 4 side, and I think they believe it. I think this is the first time that Spurs have kind of felt that this is their chance to get back, because they've been there, they've not consistently been, and they've been worked really hard. Conte is a hard taskmaster. It's like he wants them to kind of suffer in a way. I feel it's top 4. It's for them to lose, and I don't really know how Conte will react or how that press conference goes if he doesn't make the top 4. And I think more than that, I feel the fans are finally backing him up. Like the fans can see, like, if you give him time, what's the level of consistency he can get in. Like they're scoring 5 for the last 3 games, right? So it's kind of also feeling that and that's kind of the feeling there. They've got the kind of they know what they can achieve if they kind of just keep this up, like scoring 5 against Newcastle, 4 against Aston Villa, 3 against West Ham.
Yeah.
So these are not small teams. These are really good teams as well in the Premier League, and so I feel that the top 4 is what he will be aiming for. I don't think he uses as a leverage to kind of, because he's also shown what he can do with players. Like if he gets 2 players, he's almost revamped the whole side. Doherty is playing like a different player right now. Okay, he might be injured and he might be out for the rest of the season. But then Reguilon was starting him. Doherty starts one game and he does amazing, and then Reguilon doesn't get a spot back. So that team is right now fighting for its own. Like players are fighting for their own spaces, I would say. Mora is not getting chances. I think he's pretty much locked up in the front 3: Kulusevski, Son, and Kane. But then, like Mora he's not been bad. He's been scoring, I think, and he gets the Dutch player Bergwijn. So Bergwijn is the famous sub who comes on and scores a goal out of nowhere as well. So these are changes you can actually see in the game that Conte is beginning to get. It's going to be very interesting to see if he stays or if he gets the players he wants. So because I think that's also a big thing. So, but top 4 could be something that cements the fact that he stays.
I just wonder if he gets top 4, he's going to say, look, you didn't give me the players I wanted, and this is what I achieved.
Yeah.
Now give me the players that I want, and I'll show you what I can do. So maybe that might help. Let's take a quick look at the table because I didn't want to discuss on that. So right now, Tottenham, now of course, there's a little bit of games not being equal, but Tottenham right now on 57 points. And for humor's sake, I will include Manchester United in this, even though I don't want to, but they're on 51 points. That's 6 points. Gaurav, in your opinion, what is the number of points that you think is going to secure top 4? How many more? What is the magic number? Is it 65? Is it 70? I mean, I don't think 75 is needed because there's only 6 games or whatever remaining right now. 7 games. 7 games to go, let's say, for that. So what's the number? What's the magic number?
I think Spurs need to get at least 5 more wins. 5 wins out of the 7, and they're definitely going to finish in the top 4 because I can't see Arsenal winning all of their games. I might say that United have a chance if they do get better and they perform well, because Arsenal's fixtures are very tricky from me. I think they are going to lose at least a couple of games from here. Like Chelsea game is going to be tricky.
Yeah, and then they've got Chelsea, they've got Spurs, and they've got
Spurs. West Ham, Newcastle, all tricky games.
Yeah, Spurs have got 7 games. You said 5 wins because when there's 7 games, they've got to play Leicester and they've got to play Liverpool, and they've also got to play Arsenal. So they've got Leicester, Liverpool, and Arsenal still to come for them. And so basically, and Leicester probably is one that they might expect. That probably is the easiest of the 3 ties. So they might think that they could get a win there. So as long as they can beat Leicester, because then they've got Brighton and Burnley and Norwich, and I think Brighton, Brentford, Burnley, and Norwich, those should be wins. You would hope that they will be wins. So as long as they beat Leicester, I think they can afford to lose to Arsenal and Liverpool. Maybe that. Do you agree with that, Knayha? I think 15 points should be enough.
I think it's going to be the last match of the season, the North London derby that decides who goes top 4.
Well, that's not the last.
In my mind,
that's like the second last. Third. That's still
third last.
Isn't that the last game? No, that's not the last game. Oh,
at the moment, no. It's May 12th. That has been scheduled for. So and there's still 2 more games to play after that for Spurs. They're going to play Burnley and Norwich. But that will be the game. The Arsenal game will probably be the last tricky fixture.
Yeah. So, but then, I thought that there was the last game, and that's because they rescheduled that game, right? They had to reschedule it in a way, but I feel that it's. I think 57. They're 57 right now.
So according to God,
Arsenal
72 should be enough. 72 is what is the magic number.
I think that's too. I would say 66 is good enough right now. They just need. I would say they just need to get. They can get draws as well. In my mind, I feel that it's just a pressure game right now. Arsenal has the more trickier fixtures. Like even Spurs knows that. So Spurs just kind of needs to just not lose because they're ahead. Like still, it's like basically Arsenal win and Spurs loses a game, and but then Arsenal has a game at hand. So this is going to be very interesting, I would say. But in my mind, it's very clear that Arsenal has much trickier fixtures, it seems unlikely that they will finish top 4 in my mind.
Yeah, so
If
Arsenal will play.
Roy, to compare all of their fixtures, United, Arsenal, Spurs, and West Ham, I think Spurs have the easiest fixture of the lot. Even West Ham they are yet to play Chelsea, they are yet to play City. Those two games that you'd say.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it does look like Arsenal probably have a little, because Arsenal they still got to play Spurs, they've still got to play Chelsea. So you'd expect that those two games will be tricky for them. Those might be losses actually for them. And then, well, of course, we said the Spurs could afford to lose to Arsenal as long as they get the other wins. So I do feel 70, I think, is probably the magic number. That's what I'm thinking, because that's 19 points. That's 16 points.
Maybe four wins and 2 draws is enough.
That's what I'm thinking. 70 is probably going to be enough. That's just my opinion. I think that's let us know in the comment section what you think is the magic number. But I think 70 is a magic number. That as long as whoever gets there, I think if Spurs get that, that's it, because that is still 19 points ahead of what United need, which means United need to be perfect. And that's just not going to happen, because they've got to play Liverpool and they can't afford any losses at this point. And then of course they've still got to play Arsenal, they've still got to play Spurs. So no, they're not going to play Spurs anymore. They're still going to play Arsenal though. So yeah, it seems Spurs had 1 foot in the door, I think. But I mean, of course, things can change, and we'll see what happens. But that's interesting. Final point though, Gaurav. Heung-Min Son, underrated, unambitious. What do you make of him? Because someone who probably should be playing at a higher level than he is.
Definitely, as I said, when I said that Spurs have players who could get into Liverpool or City side, that's what I meant, Son and Kane. And he should have left Spurs a couple of years back, I think. I just read Walker's interview, 2 or 3 days back. He said that when he first moved to City, and the things were completely different, and we lost our first preseason game to some team, called his dad back, and he said, I think I made a wrong decision, but everything changed in 2 weeks. So maybe that is something what Son should have done. It could be, being compared to Kevin De Bruyne, or be in that category right now. He was playing for the City side or the side.
Yeah.
Definitely an opportunity missed, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, he's played in the Bundesliga as well before, so he could have moved abroad as well. But yeah, it's just sad. But I mean, at the same time, maybe if Spurs can somehow win something in the next couple of seasons, maybe it'll be vindicated. Like Kane, right? They'll be like, yeah, well, you win 1 or 2 titles with the club you love. There might be something more. But anyway, we'll see what happens there with Son. We'll see what happens with the race as well. Let us know in the comment section. What do you think? What's going to be the magic number for the top 4 race? What do you think is going to be enough to get to top 4? I'm thinking 70. Gaurav's thinking 72. Knayha is thinking 66. So where are we at, right? Let us know. Because 66 might actually be enough as well. The thing is the way that they're going, but I think 70 is probably the number that's needed. Right, and I think we'll just quickly touch on the relegation thing as well. So just a quick note here as well. Again, we'll go back to this as well. So Everton won, Burnley lost, surprisingly. Norwich won, Watford kind of are struggling. So and of course Leeds did also pick up a win, so they're kind of getting there as well. I think Newcastle are probably safe at this point. Gaurav, do you think this is the week where we might say Burnley, that's it, adios, or do you think there's still some things left?
If you look at the table, you would say like I expect Everton to stay out of the relegation zone. So that is the team they're fighting against probably. But yeah, I would say this is kind of, they are going down with Watford.
Yeah, it just looks that way only. Same thing in Kane. How many points? Do you think Everton need any more than they have? How many points do you think they need? At the moment, it's at the moment it's weird. 28 and 24. So sorry.
I think Everton need more. I think Everton need at least 7 more points in my mind. From at least they need, and they have a couple of games in hand. So I think
not on Burnley though. They don't have any on Burnley at the moment. The only ones they have is on Leeds. So yeah.
Exactly, and Watford and Norwich. So I think it's even for Leeds as well. So I think, but in my mind, I think they need to get around 35 to 38 points. 10 points from there, and that's pretty much clear.
Enough, yeah.
So I think that's in my mind kind of where Everton gets saved.
Gaurav, what do you think?
I think looking at the kind of fixtures they have, things might change in like 3 or 4 games. They play Leicester next, then Liverpool, then Chelsea, and then Leicester again. So
yeah,
it's very difficult to call it right now, but they should survive. I think they need at least 10 more points.
Okay. Yeah, because I think it depends also on how many Burnley get. Because if you look at
Burnley have kind of easier fixtures when you compare them to Everton.
well, now it was an easy fixture, and then they kind of lost one. So right now I think I mean it's, I know they've also got to play Aston Villa twice. So I'm thinking 35 sounds about right. Probably the 35. And there was a time when we used to say 40 was the magic number, but I think now we've kind of come to 35. That's just what's happened. But yeah, I think 35 sounds about right. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on those things because we've got three very exciting races, three exciting two-team races. We've got City and Liverpool fighting out for the title. We've got Spurs and Arsenal fighting out for top four. Maybe West Ham as well. You can add to that as well, fighting it out for top four. And then you've got the relegation candidates as well. So a lot to think about. So, but on that note, thank you so much, Knayha. Thank you so much, Gaurav, for joining me and sharing your thoughts today. I think this was one of the more analytical discussions that we've had today about like lots of different things as we get to the end of the season. I think this has been wonderful to have your thoughts. Gaurav, all the best for this week for the Champions League, and then of course for Saturday as well. Hopefully, I don't know if I should say hopefully. Do I want you to get the results that I want you to get? I don't know. I don't know. I can't say that. Well, I mean, I don't know. I can't say that with all sincerity. But all right. Well, hopefully you have a good week, whatever that means. Hopefully you have a good week, and it could be footballing terms and other things. But
who do you want to win among us and Liverpool in the FA Cup game?
Oh God, can you both lose? Is it possible that both teams lose? Honestly, you know what? No, I would like Liverpool to win because I think Liverpool will lose the title. So it would be nice if Liverpool won the FA Cup, City win the Premier League title. Good enough. No, but neither team wins the treble. That's what we're used to. We've become the Arsenal of the now. Arsenal, like, we don't want invincibles. It's like with me, don't want anyone to do the treble. So that's where it's at. So yeah, Liverpool win the FA Cup game. City win the title. And then of course you have maybe in both teams if they could both just lose to Madrid or Bayern or whoever, in the semis or quarters. If Atletico can do it, even better. But I think we'll have to wait till the semis. Yeah, if there's a Champions League final, God, I don't know who I want to win. Then that you can ask me then at that point. But anyway. But yeah, you know what? Hopefully it's a good week for you, Gaurav. Whatever that means. And same thing for you. I hope you have. I mean, yeah, we've got a break now. Nothing until Saturday. So yeah, we can just rest and enjoy. Well, you got to watch Barcelona playing in the Europe.
Barcelona's playing.
Europa League as well. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me, guys. Always appreciate it.
I have a feeling, Rohit, that United is going to turn around. Tide from next match.
You have a feeling.
You have this gut feeling. Right?
Thank you, Gaurav. That is very kind. I was when you said it's going to turn, I was like, yeah, sure, it's going to turn. How many years are we talking about? Next match. That's okay. All right, next match. It's cool. But thank you, Gaurav. I hope that happens. We all hope that. Well, not we all, but I hope.
Even De Gea wants that happen. Even De Gea is waiting for that.
There's a sneaky feeling I have that because Spurs and the fourth part, I just have a sneaky feeling that United might just get it because Spurs have this habit of making things easier for others and then falling out. So I do have that sneaky feeling that it could happen. But honestly, I don't know. I just don't see where it's going to turn from. And we might have to have a separate video about that as to how that will turn. But at this moment, I don't see it. But yeah, I didn't want to make this United-centric, to be honest. This was like, this is too much. I can't deal with this right now. Gaurav wanted to talk about it, but yeah, we couldn't. But anyway, thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, Gaurav, for that positive note. You're the most optimistic United fan at the moment. You're not a United fan, but you're the most optimistic person around United.
I want United to beat Liverpool. Do anything.
See, there's always an ulterior motive, isn't it? It's going to turn around from this week. I tell you what. Well, Gaurav, from a United fan, don't have that hope. Just don't have the hope that it's going to happen. Just let City. All they've got to do is win their games. Let them win their 7 games that they have. No, that's it. Don't think that Liverpool are going to lose to United. That's not going to happen. Liverpool might lose to Spurs. Might drop points against Spurs. That you would hope for that. That's what you could hope for. But don't give any hope. But anyway. On that note, if you enjoyed this video and if you enjoyed Gaurav's comment right at the end there, please do smash a like on the video. Also remember to share and subscribe to the channel. If you're new, follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We always appreciate your support. Have a good day or night, whatever time you're watching this. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.